Meeting is recording. It even told us.
Okay, great. All right, Mark McDermott, RTM moderator. This is the organizational meeting for the RTM Redistricting Committee. Let's stand and do the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
United States of America,
and
to the republic
For which it stands,
one
one nation, under
nation,
God,
indivisible,
under God,
with liberty and justice for all.
justice for all.
I think I need to get a flag on the computer or something for all these virtual meetings and the pledges, right?
Yeah, we need to change our camera angles, right? Because it's not our best sides. It's like when I get
Okay,
recorded
so,
at softball games.
So we'll take the roll call. Al Schwartz,
Here.
Karen McCormick,
Here.
Karen Wackerman. Just hear you're muted, or we didn't hear you, but and Pamela Iacono.
Here. I'm here.
Okay. So everybody's here. The first order of business is to elect a chairman. So I would like to have a motion to elect the chairman. Pam Iacono.
I'd like to nominate Hal Schwartz to serve as the chair.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, Karen Wackerman's hand went up first, so that motion is approved. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Can I abstain?
No, you don't have to abstain.
I know, I'm good.
You can vote for yourself. I will now mute myself and turn it over to
Okay.
the congratulations to the new chairman.
Thank you.
And I thank you for your service. I mean, this committee is 2 and 2 because it's a nonpartisan job, and we're focused on doing what's best for the town of Fairfield and the voters. So I leave it to you in your very capable hands, and I wish you all the luck in the world. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Mark. Okay, so
Thanks, Mark.
based on the precedent since that I saw that the redistricting committees have done under the last 2 terms, because the bodies were small, there was only a chairman and a secretary. So at this point in time, if you guys would agree, I'd like to go right to a nomination for the secretary of the committee.
Yes.
Karen Wackerman.
I nominate Pam Iacono.
Do I have a second?
I'd like to second that.
And Karen McDermott, great.
McCormick.
McCormick, I'll do that. That's going to take me a little bit. So anyway, okay, all those in
the
favor?
Karens and the mix something.
The Karens, yeah. So aye. Okay, so congratulations, Pam. See, you already started your job by recording the meeting, so you're a step ahead of all of us.
All the Irish
That's
have
the
the
chair's
same
job,
here?
I think.
All the
Yes.
Irish the same here?
Yes. Okay, so the main plan for this meeting was to set calendar dates. But I wanted to put it out to the 3 of you with the and we had all talked about meeting having this committee meetings in public, but with the Omicron variant being where it is and the positivity rate being through the roof, I would like to suggest to set a virtual meeting in 2 to 3 weeks somewhere. I think February 15th or so in that area, to set a date where we can actually come up with a better idea for dates where we think we're comfortable meeting in person. So I know that we're supposed to set a year full of dates, but I think that might be just a little premature based on the COVID variant. So if you guys were willing to agree, I just threw that Tuesday date out there. So I'm good any nights but Wednesdays. That's the night I go with my family. So if Tuesday the 15th works, I'd like to do it virtually so we can talk about calendar dates where we can sit down in person and actually talk. So anybody?
Yeah, Pam Iacono, I'm totally amenable to that, and I thank you for it. I've had a big concern about this, having served on, the last redistricting committee. There's really no way to do this other than the four of us being in a room looking at maps and essentially, having to be on top of one another in the proverbial sense. So, yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. To do it that way, we can certainly talk about the February 15th date. For me personally, that's my son's birthday, and then I'm going to be gone for, a week after that. So,
So do you want to push it
I don't
back
know
to
that
the
that
8th?
particular date will work, but for the 14th is Valentine's Day, so I.
Right, I don't think, yeah. So what if we just go back a week and go for the 8th then? So
I could do the 8th if that works with everyone else.
Karen and Karen?
Just make sure.
The 8th is
I'm
fine
just
with
double
me.
checking, I think. Yep. Can
Okay.
I ask, Hal, if we think we might, if we could talk in advance of that, and if, because it'll be a question of whether that should be virtual or in person, and maybe before you have to set the agenda, we could decide how things look and whether we feel safe being in person. And if we do, maybe we could have the registrars do their presentation at that meeting also.
I wouldn't object to that. If Karen and Pam are okay, we could have a talk at the end of January, see where we are. And if we're not comfortable, then yeah, if things are a whole lot better and we want to start, then we could do that too.
I don't necessarily have a problem with that. I would say that my opinion is, and I don't know for what it's worth, that based upon the way we are right now, I don't think we're really going to know till well into February, sort of in a rear view mirror, how we really are. So I think if we get to the end of January, I think we're going to be hard pressed to really be able to make a commitment to meet in person a week later. That's my opinion. So I think trying to do all of that for that first meeting is probably a little bit overestimating what I think is realistic. But aiming for that to try to see the conversation is fine. I just would, I think that, the way that the hospitalizations are right now, which I think is going to be guiding us, I don't see that that's going to change dramatically enough in 2 weeks for us to be able to meet in person and have in-person presentations on the 8th, but that's my opinion.
What do you think of, you may very well be right. I wonder if we did, if you did an agenda that includes that presentation and it's in person, couldn't we change the location and delete something from the agenda? It's more.
I would have to find out. I would have to talk to the town clerk. So if we're all in agreement that we could do it on the 8th, then what I will do is I will reach out to Jen Carpenter and Betsy. I will ask them for a room availability and find out exactly what the viability of, first of all, meeting in person, and then what is our cutoff time to decide that we're not going to, and we're going to go virtual only. So I will CC all of you on the email so everybody's in the loop. And Betsy can send us back an answer, or Jen Carpenter can, whichever. But I think, is 7 o'clock a good time for everybody as well, at least for the 8th?
Yeah,
that works.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. So I just wanted to do a little follow up too on that February 8th thing. I too think it's going to be really hard. I don't have any expectation that we're going to be able to do it in person, but that's okay. Hal, if you could ask the Matt Wagner, when we did the 2014-15 redistricting, did a presentation for the committee, which I think is what you guys are talking about. It's possible that that presentation might be able to be done virtually.
Yeah,
I don't remember, but if you could ask him, please, to send us the presentation from 2015, then we could at least look at it and get a sense of what what that was. I literally don't remember.
Yeah, I'll send him an email and see if he has it. I'm assuming it's some kind of PowerPoint presentation or something like that.
I honestly don't remember. But if there's some hard document of whatever he gave us from 2015, there should be a record of it somewhere. And if he could send that to us, that would be incredibly helpful to have, regardless.
Yeah, and
but if
that would be great. Maybe he even has a one
Matt,
for us for now. So maybe we can get a jump.
Matt told
He
me,
could send us the one that he has. If he has one for 2022, then he can send that one to us so we can get a head start and then go over it when we actually are in the room together. So let me see what he has, and I'll reach out and see what's digitally.
Am I muted?
I'm sorry,
Caroline, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. That's all right. Matt told me today that there is a way for him to give the presentation online. And I know how you weren't sure if you could see everything, but I was wondering if we could try that or experiment with it and see what it looks like, because that may be a good solution for the 8th.
All right. So I will reach out to
if he, that'd be great. Just if we can get that old copy, and if he has a new copy too, that both of them will be fabulous.
Yeah. All right. So I'll have the meeting set for the 8th, and I'll see what the ramifications are for to see which way we can do it. And if we feel that, come the end of January, it's a little too sketchy out there, and I have the 2 80-year-olds in the house, so I'm going to be as protective of everybody as everybody else. And if we're not comfortable, and if only one of us is not comfortable, then then we'll do it virtually, and then at least we can set some dates and talk about when we want to set the first date and have that presentation done in person on that date. So I think that's the goal. And
are you open though to seeing if we could do it virtually on the 8th, the presentation?
I want to talk to everybody before I notice anything, because I don't want anybody, because who knows what. I would prefer just to have the date up there. I have some time to put the agenda together, so book the date to make sure that we have the WebEx and we can figure out how to use it this time the right way, and then go from there. And we'll all lay our cards on the table and play it by ear, so to speak, because I know things in New Haven are off the wall. So they have really exploded, and they moved the Yale University undergraduate kids back to the first week of February. So things are changing rapidly everywhere. So I think if this, and that's where we'll go. So we'll set it for the 8th, and then see what we can do. And if it doesn't work, we'll do this again and move forward from there. So 8th.
Yeah, let's try hard if we could to get the presentation on the 8th. I think it would be good to get started, and we're already losing a month, which I understand why. I think it makes sense. But even if we can do it
to Matt, I'll let everybody know. So is there anything else that anybody wants to bring up?
Yeah, I do, Mr. Chairman, if I may. Pam Icona speaking, and I appreciate the accommodation. I truly do, and I'm only bringing this up now, because we're working to resolve all of these things. But I was asked to put it on the record by the majority leader, so I'm doing that because she specifically told me to put it on the record. So here I am. The state statute guideline for turning in our redistricting is March of 2023. And when we had the discussion at the SLMC meeting, myself included, was under the impression that if we didn't get this done by the primary deadlines, that this was going to cost the town $34,000. I've now learned that that is not necessarily so. That it does not have to be done that way so that we incur a $34,000 cost. There are other ways to handle the split districts so that we don't have to add additional tabulators, which is what those costs are. That $34,000 is to get additional tabulators, and we don't have to do that. We don't have to get extra moderators. We don't have to get assistant moderators, additional ones. So I agreed to this 5-week essential timeline under that premise, and now knowing that that's not the case, Now, they may choose to do that in the registrar's office, but it doesn't have to be done that way. So I served on this committee in 2014. It was 2015. It was an incredible committee. I'm very proud of the work that we did. I take this very seriously. We were under the exact same type of situation coming in. We had just got elected on the RTM. The thing was due the same way a year out from there. We did our work. We did it well. We worked really well together, and I anticipate that this committee will do the same thing. But I'm just putting it out there that I think that the 5-week timeline that we set for ourselves, for the reasons that, at least for me, were given, are completely unrealistic. And I am, as we move through the process, we'll see. I would like to, I think that we're probably going to have to go back and ask for a date change, but I just don't want, I'm putting it out there that we shouldn't feel compressed that this has to get done in this deadline for the primary because of a cost. Doesn't mean that I'm not willing to try and do that, but based on everything that's going on in the world right now, in this COVID situation, and if one of us ends up in quarantine and we can't meet, and et cetera, I just don't think that we should all feel like we need to feel that stress. So I'm only raising this because I was told to put it on the record, and here I am putting it on the record, and I do appreciate that we're going to, revisit things for the 8th and go from there. So I'm just...
I'd like to just respond. I hear what you're saying. I don't know. We got some emails from, you had questions for Matt Wagner, the registrar, and he responded about this stuff. And I don't know what the basis is for saying it doesn't have to cost that. And I'd want to dig down into that first before we made a decision. And also, even the bigger concern for me is that in November, we'll have 17 different voting places, whether they're in the same room or not. And people are going to be very confused, and I think it's really a recipe for a chaotic election. And I don't think we need more than a few meetings, really, to get this done. If we buckle down and do it, I don't think it'll take that much time. So I really think we should aim, I mean, you agreed to that time frame, and maybe it was just because you thought that was the amount, but it's not unreasonable to try to get that done in, even a few meetings. So I really would like to push for that to make it a clean election where we really trust,
Well, just remember that last time we had 21 districts and everything. It's just a matter of training your people, training your poll workers. But I understand. You should definitely go do your own homework and find out.
Yeah.
And I believe you will find out the same thing that I did, which I did not know until I did my own homework.
And maybe for that presentation meeting, we have the both registrars be prepared to answer that question.
That would be good.
If we decide that we want to meet in March, then, and have a meeting in March for the presentation, that might be the perfect time to start that meeting with explain all this to us. So all of us understand what it is and we all get the same answers at the same time. So I think it's a good thing, and find out, exactly from both registrars what it is that we need. So let's put it out there and see what happens. Mark, is that your hand up there or are you just waving at me?
I just have a comment, but Karen McCormick was first. So
go ahead, Karen.
Hi, I'm kind of new to the whole redistricting scenario here, but in part, I'm going to rely on anybody who tells me that they've been through this before. And I have talked to a few people who indicate that this particular task, because of the very nature of the task, and again, I'm new to it, so I can't speak to this being true, but this is what's being represented to me, does require very close in-person kind of leaning over each other type of activity in order to look at the maps, change things on the maps, and kind of, come to a consensus kind of thing. And I think that's very important to put on the record here, that we're talking about in-person meetings with close contact. We can't be 6 feet away from each other, wearing masks and, behind plexiglass screens. And in light of what's going on in the world, as everybody knows, I don't see how you can put this on such a tight time frame when we know that there's actually a statutory deadline that doesn't hit us for some time till March of 2023. That doesn't mean, as Pam has indicated, that we won't take a run at this. We won't try and make an attempt. And if we can do it, great. But the writing's kind of on the wall here as to our ability to meet in person in close contact with one another. That happening anytime within the next 30 plus days, I think is very, very questionable. And that's all I want to say about that.
Mark?
Yeah, I just need everybody's sizes because I'm going to order spacesuits. No, I'm not. Because I was staring at them for in the operating room last Thursday. It was very cool. But what I would suggest is I think how you should, talk to the registrars, get them prepared to make a presentation either virtually or in person. They need to be prepared for both. And I would suggest that they run through the pros, the cons, how much is it, $31,000? Do they need machines? So everybody knows, everybody's on the same page together. And then you can make your decision going forward for when you're going to have the next meeting. And the date, is in 23, but there's no reason if we can't get this done that we don't get it done now. That's just my opinion on it. And if you guys can get it done, it would be fantastic. So that's my 2 cents, and I'll leave you alone.
Thanks.
No, and I do want to add, I'm not advocating turning this in March 2023, just so you know. That's not what I'm advocating for. I'm just saying that that's when it needs to be filed.
So then I guess the question I have for the three of you would be, so we're going to have a meeting on February 8th, which will most likely be a virtual meeting. And we are going to set calendar dates, or want to set calendar dates. Would you want to have the registrars there to answer these questions at that meeting? So we can get some information prior to, hear it from the horse's mouth, so to speak, and have a better idea of what the scenario would be if we went path A, what it would be if it would be path B. And I'm not talking about having the actual redistricting, but just have them answer the questions so we're all on the same page. I just wanted to know how you guys feel about possibly asking them to appear for us virtually on the 8th.
I don't have any problem with that.
Okay, then I will see if I can get them and add it to the agenda. Yep.
Can I just ask again? I keep saying this, but I'm hoping that maybe they could actually also give the presentation, and we could look into that, whether it could be remote.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I don't want that. Personally, don't want the presentation virtually, because I'm looking at a 9-inch screen 10-inch screen right now. If I can get them to send us the presentation ahead of time so we can look at it on our own, that would be great. I mean, obviously, if we're still in the middle of March and we're still not comfortable doing this, then we're going to have to do that. And, I'm going to have to come up with my own plan to work this out. But I'm really not comfortable sitting and having a presentation virtually if I can help it. But, let's see where we are on the 8th. Let's see what answers we get to the questions. And then I think we'll all have a better handle on all of this in 2 weeks. I'm not sure where we're going to be, but hopefully we'll be in better shape than we are now as a community and as a state. And I don't know. And I don't think anybody knows. So I think if that's where we leave it, I think we'll be good. At least we have a date to start, and we can have some more discussions. So that's about where I am. So anybody have anything else they'd like to add? Okay, I do see one member of the public, and I want to know, I got to make sure, is there anything, I'm not sure if she has access or not, but Jill, is there anything you'd like to say?
Hey, Hal, thanks.
Sure.
I wanted to repeat and echo what Mark had said. I think that it would be really good to try to get this done in a timely way. Other towns have already submitted theirs. They managed to get it in and done within a month. So I don't know why it would take us so long. I just, honestly, if it were me, I would close my eyes and do the districts based on what is most contiguous and what is equal numbers. And that's how I think it should be done. That's what serves the voters, and it's best for them to have a map, a straightforward map when they vote in this coming election. And I'm very concerned about not having those 17 voting districts.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else from the committee have anything they want to add or say? And I would really love to
No,
entertain
but
a
I'll
motion
just add that having done this before, and I do think with the advent of technology, it's going to be a lot faster. I really do. But it's not as easy as you think, because you're moving in census blocks. So, but you know, I do have high hopes. It's not. I'm just trying to be realistic. That's all. But yes, if you're looking for a motion to adjourn, sure.
I need a second. Thank you, Karen. All those in favor? Okay,
Aye.
we'll see everybody. We'll see everybody next Tuesday night. And then the Monday after, or then the Monday after that, and then the Tuesday after that. So thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Sorry for all the confusion to get in, but maybe we'll get better at this as we go along. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mark,
Good
for
night.
getting us off the ground. Bye now.
You guys, appreciate it. Take care.
Bye-bye.